It's a powerful week, and it may feel like a lot of pressure is upon you and that some big changes are on the horizon. So, if you could use a little bit of help with what you're sensing is on the horizon, the Empower Hours are a good way to go. And you can always schedule one of those in with me at the link you'll see above. A certain amount of imperfection in life has to be accepted. But if we're going to go with that, we also have to take a look that perhaps that means that things being imperfect are absolutely, positively perfect. And if things are absolutely, positively perfect, then that desire that we have to make things better in our life is also absolutely perfect. So it seems on one level that the only level of perfection that we're going to be able to have in life is accepting the perfection that we can't have the level of perfection that we would absolutely like to have. But it doesn't have to stop us from looking. And sometimes it's that looking that leads us in a certain direction, causes us to have certain experiences that we wouldn't otherwise have, causes us to interact with people and situations that we otherwise wouldn't interact with. And along the way, something happens. We make some changes to our life and we begin to turn things around. In short, you may be dealing with a situation in your life at the present moment where things just feel, a bit out of alignment. Something doesn't make you happy. But at the same time, you're not really sure about what you need in order to make you as happy as you would like to be. You know some changes have to be made, but you're not really sure which changes you're going to be making. And one part of you is kind of kicking yourself a little bit and going, well, how can I be in a position of wandering and kind of, being all over the place, vacillating, not being able to make up my mind when I'm having to make some pretty important decisions sometime soon and I'm under a lot of pressure to make those decisions. Here's the ticket and here's the deal. You need to recognize on a certain level that you're not necessarily wandering, you're not like lost, you're not astray. What you're doing is you're seeking. It's just that we think we have to have it sorted immediately. We think that the answers we should be able to come up with, poop, like that, and it just pops in our mind and we've got it. But life just isn't like that. Life has a lot of experiences that, well, for lack of a better way to put it, are meant to diminish our ego. It's meant to show us that we can't always sort everything out mentally. Sometimes we have to be lost, in short, in order to find ourselves. So if you're finding yourself in a situation where you're feeling like you're under a lot of, well, immense pressure to make some really big changes in your life, here are some things to kind of look at, right? First of all, how big is that pressure and how real is it? Now, on one level, a certain degree of it might be pretty darn real. But is that reaction that you're having to that pressure necessary in relation to the level of pressure that's existing in your life? Okay, so take a look at that first, because taking a look at that can actually ease a lot of the pressure that you're feeling is on your shoulders. Equally, as I was saying before, it's okay to not have everything figured out immediately. It's okay to not know which way the wind's blowing because every once in a while you just have to go and stick your finger up like that, or like another way, but I'm not going to really kind of hint like that because that might be considered a little bit rude, right? And sometimes we feel like doing that for the universe. But sometimes, even when you stick your finger up to see which way the wind's blowing, you can't really be sure because sometimes it's blowing from several different directions at once, or so it seems. And sometimes the best that we can do is to put our powers of discernment and being able to differentiate one set of circumstances from another to the greatest test that we possibly can and be okay with the level of dissatisfaction that we're experiencing and be okay with seeing several different options that could be on the table and being okay with allowing ourselves to explore each of those options. This particular transit of Venus through Mrigasira Nakshatra is going to come to a close on the 16th of July. Within the last few days of that, you're likely going to reach either an aha moment where you go, okay, enough of that. It's time to just move on and take action in a certain direction, or you're actually going to have the answer that you seek. But in the meantime, don't give yourself such a hard time for exploring your options. It's absolutely necessary at the moment. And that level of pressure that you're feeling, well, sure, a certain degree of it is, very credible and very well warranted. But at the same time, try to recognize that the manner in which you're responding to that pressure may be disproportionate, maybe. Sorry, don't know which is the correct grammar. To be quite fair, I don't really care. Disproportionate. It may be disproportionate to the actual situation. So, in other words, the level of your response may be disproportionate to the level of pressure that you're actually under. So, take a look at that first. As I said earlier, let the weight be removed from your shoulders and be okay with seeking. It's absolutely fine to not know the answers 100% of the time, because in seeking, ultimately, that is how we find. And that's going to do it for this look at Venus's transit through Mrigashira Nakshatra, taking place from the 5th of July to the 16th of July, 2022. Just a reminder, if you could use a little bit of help finding your way during this particular transit, you can always schedule in a session with me through the link that you'll see above. For now, take care, and I'll talk to everybody the next time. Bye.